Imagine opening your freezer and finding not leftover pizza, but a perfectly preserved saber-toothed cat that's been waiting there for 37,000 years. Well, that's essentially what's happening right now across the Arctic tundra of Siberia in northern Canada. It's where we explore the incredible stories locked away in Earth's natural archives. Today we're diving into what might be the most extraordinary preservation system our planet has ever created: permafrost, nature's ultimate deep freeze. These aren't just scattered bones or fossil fragments. We're talking about complete animals, fur, muscles, organs, even their last meals still intact in their stomachs. It's like stumbling upon a biological time machine that's been running on autopilot for tens of thousands of years. Before we meet our frozen cast of characters, let's understand the star of this preservation show: permafrost. This isn't just regular old frozen ground, it's a complex geological phenomenon that acts like nature's most sophisticated cryogenic laboratory. Permafrost mummies provide crucial insights into the physiology and life histories of Pleistocene organisms, due to how well the preservation process keeps the specimens from decomposing. The constant presence of permafrost is able to preserve the soft tissues of organisms through a process similar to freeze-drying. Think of it as Earth's own version of freeze-drying, but operating on a geological timescale. When an animal dies and is rapidly buried in conditions where the ground temperature stays below freezing year-round, bacterial decomposition essentially stops. The cellular structure remains intact, DNA stays remarkably stable, and even delicate features like whiskers and fur can survive millennia. The science behind this preservation is remarkable. Permafrost mummies of extinct Ice Age mammals provide a variety of material for modern research. Taxonomic relations and dispersal history can be studied through the ancient DNA. The structure of soft tissue can be observed in detail. Paleo diet can be inferred by the gut contents and feces. But here's the fascinating and slightly concerning part. Climate change is now thawing these ancient freezers, releasing their contents back into our world. It's like the planet is opening a vault of biological treasures that's been sealed since the Pleistocene. Saber-toothed cat cub. Our first incredible discovery takes us to the banks of the Batyarika River in Yakutia, Siberia, a place that seems to specialize in biological surprises. In 2020, researchers uncovered what can only be described as paleontological gold, a saber-toothed cat cub that had been perfectly preserved for 37,000 years. Now, before you picture the massive Smilodon fatalis prowling through museum dioramas, this little guy belongs to a different branch of the saber-tooth family tree, Homotherium latidens, sometimes called the scimitar cat. These were the more lightly built cousins of the famous saber-tooths, built for pursuit rather than ambush. What makes this discovery extraordinary isn't just the age, it's the completeness. We're talking about intact skin, fur, muscle tissue, claws, and yes, even these iconic whiskers. The cub was only about 3 weeks old when it died, giving scientists an unprecedented look at the early development of these magnificent predators. The level of preservation shocked even seasoned paleontologists. Dr. Alexei Lopatin from the Russian Academy of Sciences described it as a sensational find. And when you consider that most of what we know about these cats comes from scattered bones and teeth, you can understand why finding essentially a complete baby saber-tooth would make headlines worldwide. This isn't just a museum piece, it's a biological data goldmine that's helping scientists understand everything, from ancient Arctic ecosystems to the evolutionary relationships between extinct and modern cats. Cave lions Sparta and Boreas. If one perfectly preserved Ice Age predator sounds impressive, how about two Meet Sparta and Boris, two cave-lion cubs that represent one of the most remarkable paleontological finds of the 21st century. Recently, melting permafrost revealed the frozen remains of these two cubs named Boris and Sparta, who had been entombed in ice for over 28,000 years. Their fur, whiskers, and even facial expressions have been stunningly well preserved. Sparta was discovered in 2017, followed by Boris in 2018, both in the same region of Yakutia. But here's where the story gets really interesting. Despite being found relatively close to each other, these cubs live 15,000 years apart. Boris is approximately 43,000 years old, while Sparta is only 28,000 years old. The Pleistocene cave lion, Panthera spelaea, was no house cat. These were massive predators, up to 25% larger than modern African lions that dominated the Ice Age landscapes of Europe and northern Asia. They likely lived in small prides and hunted the megafauna that roamed the mammoth steppes. What's extraordinary about Sparta and Boris is their completeness. We're not just talking about preserved fur, their internal organs, brain tissue, and even stomach contents are intact. Scientists have been able to extract DNA, analyze their diet, and study their development in ways that would have been impossible just a few decades ago. The facial expressions you can still see on these cubs provide an almost haunting connection to the distant past. It's as if they just closed their eyes for a nap 28,000 years ago and are waiting to wake up. Prehistoric foal. Our next time traveler is perhaps the most heartbreaking and scientifically valuable of all, a prehistoric foal discovered in 2018 in the famous Batagaika crater, sometimes called the gateway to the underworld, due to its massive permafrost exposure. This wasn't just any ancient horse. This foal belonged to an extinct species called Equus linensis, the Lena horse, which was perfectly adapted to the harsh Pleistocene Arctic. The specimen is extraordinarily complete. We're talking about intact organs, liquid blood, yes, you read that correctly, and perfectly preserved soft tissues. The foal was only 1 to 2 weeks old when it died, likely drowning in freezing mud that then became its preservative tomb. What emerged 40,000 years later was nothing short of miraculous, a complete window into Pleistocene equine biology. The preservation was so perfect that scientists were able to extract liquid blood, something that sounds like science fiction, but represents a genuine breakthrough in understanding ancient DNA preservation. The blood cells were intact enough to provide insights into everything from the animal's health to its genetic relationship with modern horses. Giant ancestors of camels, sloths, lions, hyenas, and many others populated the landscape. When these animals died, their bodies likely decomposed, and anything that wasn't scavenged became part of the frozen ground. Permafrost's cool touch perfectly preserves nearly anything within it. This little foal is helping scientists understand not just horse evolution, but the entire ecosystem of the mammoth steppes, a vast grassland environment that supported an incredible diversity of megafauna, but disappeared at the end of the Ice Age. Woolly mammoth discoveries. No discussion of permafrost preservation would be complete without the undisputed celebrities of Ice Age paleontology, woolly mammoths. These aren't just occasional finds. We're talking about dozens of remarkably preserved specimens that have revolutionized our understanding of these magnificent giants. Researchers in Siberia are conducting tests on a juvenile mammoth whose remarkably well-preserved remains were discovered in thawing permafrost after more than 50,000 years. This recent discovery, along with famous specimens like Yucca, Luba, and Dima, represents an unprecedented collection of mammoth biology. What makes mammoth preservation so remarkable is the completeness. We're not just finding bones, we're finding hair, skin, fat, muscle, internal organs, and even stomach contents that tell us exactly what these animals were eating in their final days. Some specimens are so well preserved that you can still see the wrinkles in their trunks. The scientific value of these discoveries cannot be overstated. Ancient DNA extracted from mammoth specimens has revealed that there were actually multiple species of woolly mammoths. With complex population dynamics and migration patterns across Beringia, the land bridge that once connected Asia and North America, a perfectly preserved baby mammoth has been found deep in Yukon's permafrost, unlocking secrets of a lost Ice Age world. Each new discovery adds pieces to the puzzle of mammoth biology, behavior, and extinction. Perhaps most remarkably, some mammoth specimens contain parasites, providing insights into Ice Age disease ecology. Others have been found with evidence of human hunting spear points embedded in bones, providing direct evidence of human-mammoth interactions during the Pleistocene. Woolly rhinoceros. The woolly rhinoceros was essentially a living tank of the Ice Age, built like a modern rhino but perfectly adapted for Arctic conditions with dense fur and massive horns. In 2020, researchers in Yakutia discovered a juvenile woolly rhino that had been preserved for 34,000 years, complete with skin, organs, and even its baby teeth. This isn't just another fossil find. It's a complete biological package. The specimen included intact intestines, allowing scientists to study not just what these animals looked like, but what they ate, how they grew, and even details about their metabolism. The baby teeth were perfectly preserved, providing insights into development that would be impossible to gain from adult specimens. What's particularly fascinating about woolly rhino preservation is that we can study their adaptation to extreme cold, the fur structure, fat distribution, and even blood vessel patterns in the extremities show sophisticated adaptations to Arctic conditions that rival modern cold weather specialists like musk oxen. The scientific implications extend beyond just understanding rhinoceros biology. These specimens help us understand the entire mammoth steppe ecosystem, a complex grassland environment that supported incredible biodiversity, but completely disappeared at the end of the Pleistocene. Cave bear. In 2020, reindeer herders on the Liakovsky Islands made a discovery that sent shockwaves through the paleontological community: a complete adult cave bear, perfectly preserved after spending millennia in Siberian permafrost. Cave bears were the gentle giants of Ice Age Europe and Asia, massive omnivores that could weigh up to 1,000 pounds but primarily ate plants. They're called cave bears, not because they were particularly cave-dwelling, but because their fossils are commonly found in cave systems where they hibernated. What makes this discovery unprecedented is that it's the first complete cave bear ever found with soft tissues intact. Previous knowledge of these animals came entirely from bones and teeth scattered across cave floors. Suddenly, scientists had access to skin, fur, internal organs, brain tissue, and even stomach contents. The level of preservation was so extraordinary that researchers could study the bear's last meal, providing direct evidence of cave bear diet and behavior. This isn't theoretical reconstruction from fossilized teeth, it's actual stomach contents from 22,000 years ago. The discovery is helping scientists understand why cave bears went extinct around 24,000 years ago during the last glacial maximum. Climate change theories can now be tested against actual biological evidence from preserved specimens. Zhur the wolf pup. While water blasting at a wall of frozen mud in Yukon, Canada, a gold miner made an extraordinary discovery: a perfectly preserved wolf pup that had been locked in permafrost for 57,000 years. Meet Zhur, a name that means wolf in the local Trondek-Huetchen language. This isn't just another ancient specimen. It's potentially the most perfectly preserved Ice Age mammal ever discovered in North America. Zhur was only about 7 weeks old when she died. likely in a den collapse that provided the rapid burial necessary for exceptional preservation. What emerged from the permafrost 57,000 years later was essentially a mummified puppy, complete with fur, whiskers, teeth, claws, and even facial features that seem ready for a close-up. The scientific value of Jur extends far beyond her cute factor. Ancient DNA analysis has revealed that she belongs to a wolf population that was ancestral to both modern wolves and domestic dogs. She's essentially a snapshot of canine evolution at a crucial branching point. Researchers studied the diets of extinct Ice Age Megafauna to understand climate change today. These animals thrived in wetter climates and died out 10,000 years ago when it became warmer and drier. Stomach content analysis has provided insights into Ice Age food webs, showing the interconnected relationships between predators and prey in Pleistocene ecosystems. Even her baby teeth have scientific value, providing information about development, diet, and health in ancient wolf populations. Dogor, the canine mystery. Sometimes the most scientifically valuable discoveries are also the most mysterious. Enter Dogor, a name that means friend in the Yakutian language, and also perfectly captures the scientific uncertainty surrounding this remarkable specimen. Discovered in 2018 in Yakutia, Dogor is an 18,000 years old canine that has scientists scratching their heads. The preservation is extraordinary, complete with fur, teeth, whiskers, and facial features, but the big question is, what exactly is he? Initial DNA analysis suggested Dogor might represent a transitional form between wolves and early domestic dogs. His genetic signature doesn't quite match modern wolves, but it's also not clearly domestic dog. He's potentially a snapshot of canine evolution at the exact moment when some wolves were beginning their transformation into humanity's best friend. The implications are enormous. If Dogor represents early dog domestication, he could rewrite our understanding of when and where humans first began their partnership with canines. The preservation quality allows for detailed anatomical studies that are impossible with traditional fossils. Recent analysis suggests Dogor was likely an ancient wolf lineage. That contributed to modern dog genetics, but represents a population that no longer exists. He's essentially a piece of the canine evolutionary puzzle that we didn't even know was missing. Steppe bison. Our final frozen time traveler brings us to 2011 and the discovery of a complete steppe bison, the massive ancestor of modern American bison. This wasn't just another set of bones emerging from the permafrost. This was a complete biological package that had been stored in nature's freezer for 9,000 years. The steppe bison was built like a living bulldozer, larger and more robust than modern bison, perfectly adapted to the harsh conditions of the mammoth steppes. They were one of the most successful large mammals of the Pleistocene, ranging from Western Europe to Alaska. What makes this specimen extraordinary is the completeness of preservation. Scientists were able to study not just anatomy and genetics, but actual physiology, heart tissue, digestive system contents, even evidence of diseases and parasites that affected these ancient herds. Most plant identifications were found using DNA, likely because the studied feces contained many vegetative remains that could not be identified using macrofossils or pollen. The stomach contents provided a detailed snapshot of steppe bison diet, helping scientists reconstruct entire Ice Age plant communities. This specimen is helping researchers understand why steppe bison survived in some regions longer than others, and how climate change at the end of the Pleistocene affected large herbivore populations across Beringia. These discoveries represent far more than an amazing collection of well-preserved ancient animals. They're revolutionizing our understanding of Pleistocene biology, evolution, and extinction in ways that would have been impossible just a generation ago. Because the bones have been frozen, They tend to be well preserved and are suitable for various isotopic and DNA analyses. Miners across Beringia routinely expose bones of Pleistocene megafauna in their search for mineral treasures. The DNA extracted from these specimens is providing unprecedented insights into ancient genetics. We're learning about population dynamics, migration patterns, evolutionary relationships, and even the genetic basis for Ice Age adaptations. Some specimens contain DNA so well preserved that complete genomes can be reconstructed. But it's not just about genetics. The preserved soft tissues are allowing scientists to study ancient physiology, how these animals' hearts worked, how they digested food, how they regulated body temperature in extreme cold. We're getting answers to questions about Ice Age biology that we couldn't even ask before. Perhaps most importantly, these discoveries are helping us understand the complex relationships between climate change, ecosystem collapse, and mass extinction. The Pleistocene extinction event wiped out most large mammals worldwide, and these preserved specimens are providing crucial data about how and why it happened. There's a profound irony in these discoveries. The same climate change that's threatening our modern world is also revealing these ancient treasures. As global temperatures rise, permafrost that has remained frozen for tens of thousands of years is beginning to thaw, releasing its biological contents. This creates both unprecedented scientific opportunities and significant challenges. On one hand, we're discovering specimens at a rate that would have been unimaginable just decades ago. On the other hand, once thawed, these specimens begin to decompose rapidly unless they're immediately collected and properly preserved. The race is on for scientists to document and preserve these discoveries before they're lost forever. Climate change is essentially opening a biological vault that's been sealed since the Pleistocene. But that same process threatens to destroy the evidence if we don't act quickly. These discoveries are also providing crucial data for understanding how species and ecosystems respond to rapid climate change, information that's increasingly relevant as we face our own period of environmental transformation. The scientific value of these discoveries extends far beyond paleontology. The quality of genetic material being recovered is so high that some researchers are seriously discussing de-extinction projects, using ancient DNA to potentially bring back species like woolly mammoths and cave lions. While the technical challenges are enormous, the preserved specimens provide the genetic blueprints that would make such projects theoretically possible. Whether or not we should attempt to resurrect Ice Age species is a complex ethical and ecological question. But these discoveries are making it technically feasible. More immediately, the genetic information is helping with conservation of modern species. Understanding how Ice Age animals adapted to extreme environmental conditions could provide insights for helping modern species adapt to climate change. These 9 incredible discoveries represent just the tip of the iceberg, literally. As permafrost continues to thaw across the Arctic, scientists expect to uncover many more biological treasures from the Ice Age. Each specimen tells a story not just of individual animals, but of entire ecosystems that flourished and then vanished as our planet's climate changed. They're reminders that we live on a dynamic planet, where conditions that seem permanent can change dramatically over geological time. But perhaps most importantly, these frozen time capsules remind us that we're part of a continuous story of life on Earth. The same evolutionary processes that shaped these Ice Age giants are still operating today. And understanding the past helps us navigate an uncertain future. The permafrost may be melting, but the scientific treasures it's revealing are helping us unlock secrets of life, death, and survival that span tens of thousands of years. And who knows what other incredible discoveries are still waiting in the frozen ground, ready to rewrite our understanding of the prehistoric world. Thanks for joining us on this journey through deep time. If you enjoyed this exploration of frozen prehistory, make sure to subscribe for more incredible stories from Earth's ancient past. And let us know in the comments, which of these frozen discoveries amazed you most? Until next time, keep exploring the incredible story of life on our planet.